Well, it's finally coming. The Oscars 2025 nomination day is tomorrow, which means I need to go ahead and give you all my predictions for all the nominees in every categories except the short film ones because that one's just a toss-up. Everybody knows it's a lottery unless you're doing your homework, but I didn't really do my homework. But let's just get in to the favorite time of the year, which is Oscar mania, Oscar time. Who are going to be snubbed? Who's going to get nominated? All the predictions here. Let's just get into it. It is officially time to give our nominations for the Oscars in 2025. This season has been bonkers. Nobody really knows what's going to be nominated in different categories. Who are the 9 and 10 slots for Best Picture? Who is the 5th slot in the acting categories? What's going to even be nominated in the supporting categories? There's a lot of big mysteries to unfold. There's been a lot of wildness. We don't even know who's the real frontrunner for Best Picture, in my opinion, yet. But I'm not going to make you guys wait till the end to get stuff like Best Picture. We're going to do all the big awards up front, and then we'll do some of the lower ones in the back. I'm going to give you my 10 ranked nominees coming from nominations in terms of what I think is the most likely. So let's just get into Best Picture. So The Brutalist, Emilia Perez, Conclave, Wicked, Anora, A Complete Unknown, The Substance, and Dune Part 2 are my 8 certified locks. They've pretty much showed up everywhere. PGA, BAFTA 10, Golden Globes, Critics' Choice. These are 8 movies that are definitely going to be there tomorrow when the Oscars give their nominations for Best Picture. The final 2 spots, that's a big question mark. Now, I'm going to go with A Real Pain and Sing Sing. I think Sing Sing will get in off some push in screenplay and acting categories. I just think it's too good of a movie to miss for Best Picture. And A Real Pain has seen a lot of more support coming out now, making things like BAFTA shorts list for screenplay, making PGA top 10. I think A Real Pain has shown a lot of resurgence and popularity. So I think A Real Pain is still going to be getting in there for Best Picture. That means Nickel Boys at September 5 are my first 2 out. Would not be surprised to see either of those 2 movies in. But I don't know. I'm feeling Sing Sing and I'm feeling A Real Pain as my 9 and 10 movies for the Best Picture. Director, very similarly, we have 4 pretty much locks in, Brady Corbet, Jacques Audiard, Edward Berger, Sean Baker. Those 4 gentlemen are kind of our major locks. And then there's kind of 4 more people playing for that 5th spot. Coralie Farjat from The Substance, James Mangold from A Complete Unknown, Ramel Ross from Nickel Boys, and Denis Villeneuve from Dune Part 2. Now, a lot of people out there really want to see Denis get this nomination, and I understand why. For a lot of people, Dune Part 2 is one of their favorite movies in one of the big directing masterpieces of 2024 overall. I, though, think Fargat, who is coming from the Cannes Film Festival, The Substance was pretty hot throughout all of December for audiences. The movie, I just think, will speak very well to directors. I have her taking that 5th slot in the director pool. We'll see what happens there. Moving on from director, Best Actress. Again, we kind of have 4 locks here. You have Demi Moore for The Substance, Mikey Madison for Anora, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, and Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. These 4 women feel like they are locks to be nominated in this category. I don't know which one would be the one that gets snubbed, but then there's 3 women I think fighting for that 5th and final spot. You have Pamela Anderson, who was the SAG nominee in the 5th spot for Best Actress. You have Fernanda Torres, who was the drama-winning actress at the Golden Globes that have a pretty good campaign. And then you have Marianne Jean-Baptiste from Hard Truths, and she's going to be my pick. I think she got in at BAFTA. I think she will have the international support more than Torres. And I don't think The Last Showgirl is going to peak enough to get Pamela Anderson in. Now, any of these 3 women, I would be not surprised if they make it. I'd be surprised if 2 of them make it. One of them likely will. I'm going to go with John Baptiste, but Torres and Anderson, I wouldn't be surprised at all in any of their movies, whether I'm Still Here or The Last Showgirl. Both excellent performances that very much deserve recognition if they're given. Best Actor. This one seems like it has 4 people locked in, and you kind of have 3 gentlemen fighting for that 5th slot. Timothée Chalamet, for the Complete Unknown, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, all seem like pure locks. They've gotten in everywhere. They've basically been everywhere. They're going to get nominated. The question now is it going to be Daniel Craig, who got in at SAG? Is it going to be either Hugh Grant or Sebastian Stan, who got in at BAFTA over Daniel Craig? I'm not too comfortable with this pick, but, Stan, I think, has a lot of positive momentum coming from the Golden Globes. He won for A Different Man. I think he'll be getting in for The Apprentice. He's my 5th pick overall right now, and he's the person I actually think will actually get that supporting slot, so that's supporting the Best Actor slot, so I'm going with Sebastian Stan at number 5. Supporting Actress is next, and we are seeing Zoe Saldana and Ariana Grande fight for this award. A lot of people think Zoe Saldana is going to run away with it, given her Golden Globes win, given her excellent career supporting both Hollywood blockbusters and just being very much involved in the Hollywood scene, and Emilia Perez being a very much loved movie. But Wicked and Ariana Grande, I think, has a chance to win at SAG and really give us a mano-a-mano battle at the Oscars. The main question, though, is who is coming along with them in supporting actress? Because Isabella Rossellini seems kind of like a lock from Conclave. It's not the big flashy performance, but her scenes and her presence in Conclave is really well done and is one I think the old acting body will award. Jamie Lee Curtis in The Last Showgirl came out of nowhere, not just getting nominated at SAG with Pamela Anderson, but she got nominated at BAFTA too. She's been on the news a lot, given up, with the California wildfires and a little bit of a delay. She's a former recent Oscar winner. I have her getting in here. She's my number 4 slot. And then for number 5, you're looking at Daniel Deadwyler. You're looking at Felicity Jones, Monica Barbaro, Selena Gomez, Margaret Qualley, Anjanou Ellis-Taylor. There's a vast amount of supporting actresses that gave great performance this year that very much deserve an Oscar nom, but the question is who's going to get it? Now, off her SAG nomination, I'm going to actually go with Danielle Detweiler getting in here in that 5 spot. I wouldn't be surprised to see Felicity Jones here either. Those are my 5 and my number 6, but I think what hurts Felicity Jones is if people aren't watching the second half of The Brutalist, if they're just watching the first half and saying that's enough, they aren't seeing her performance and all of her work in The Brutalist because her character arrives in the second half. And that could stop her from getting the nomination at the Oscar. And that's why I'm predicting she's not going to get it at the Oscars. She missed she missed at the SAG Awards. She missed a few other places. I don't have Felicity Jones in our race here at supporting actress. She's going to be one of my pretty big snubs as somebody who really enjoyed her performance in The Brutalist. Supporting actor is not as wide open as supporting actress. Kieran Culkin, Yura Borisov, Guy Pearce, Edward Norton, those 4 seem like pretty solid locks, in my opinion. Guy Pearce missed at SAG for Jonathan Bailey, but Jonathan Bailey's not going to get in here. The question is going to be, is it Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice or Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing? And I think The Apprentice is peaking at the right time. Strong got a SAG nomination. Strong got a BAFTA nomination. And as much as I love Clarence Macklin and I feel he very much deserves to be in this nomination pool, and Sing Sing should be getting a lot more respect and love in nomination land, it seemingly has missed the areas where it needed to hit. Things like SAG Ensemble, just him getting into SAG. He didn't get, he got into BAFTA, which is a surprise, but Macklin has been missing a lot of different places. I think he missed that Golden Globes. So I'd be happily surprised to see Macklin in there on Thursday morning, but I'm going to be predicting Jeremy Strong as my 5th in supporting actor. Now we're moving on to the screenplays. An original screenplay has I think, a pretty big fight in terms of who may win Best Picture, because you have Anora likely going to get nominated. Anora is my prediction. The Substance is my prediction. A Real Pain is my prediction. The Brutalist, and I think September 5 is getting that original screenplay nom. I think All We Imagine Is Light could be a surprise in here too, as well as maybe a couple others on the outside like Challengers. But I really think September 5 is going to get that 5th slot. And I do think that this is going to be between like Anora, A Real Pain, and The Substance. I don't know if The Brutalist has that great of a screenplay to carry it for the win here, but OG Screenplay is going to be a fun one to predict later on, but those are my 5 that I'm picking as nominees. Adapted Screenplay? This one seems a little bit more obvious. I mean, Dune Part 2 and Wicked might sneak in here and knock out something like a Nickel Boys or a Sing Sing, but I'm predicting Conclave, Amelia Perez, Sing Sing, Nickel Boys, and A Complete Unknown as my 5 in adapted screenplay. It just kind of feels like a lock overall. Again, Wicked could surprise. Same thing with Dune Part 2, but I really do I just think that A Complete Unknown has risen itself up a lot stronger than I expected. And this is Nickel Boys and Sing Sing's best chance at getting nominations in this field outside of, say, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. International feature. Amelia Perez is going to win this award, but my 4 other nominees I have are Kneecap, I'm Still Here, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and I would have picked All We Imagine Is Light, but India did not pick that as their movie. And I'm going to go a little bit out on the outside. I'm going to pick Flow. I think there's a chance that Flow could be nominated for the international feature. It's a very popular movie. It may win animated feature. It's definitely going to get nominated for animated feature, and it's made other award bodies international feature. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put Flow at number 5. Animated feature, these 5 feel like they're locked up. The only thing that could surprise for me is like if somehow Moana 2 gets a surprise, Transformer 1. I don't think that's going to happen. I think your 5 for animated feature, you got Flow, you have The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, and Wallace and Gromit, their new movie. That seems like the pretty solid 5. That's pretty much been the 5 everywhere so far. That is one you could almost take to the bank, I feel. It just feels pretty obvious. Cinematography is always an interesting one because you never know what movie's going to pop up out of nowhere. I have Maria in here because that's a movie where I don't know if it'll get in other places, but its cinematography was pristine, and it just feels like the type of film that the cinematography branch will recognize at the Oscars. I obviously have The Brutalist and Dune Part 2, 2 of the favorites out there, and then rounding it out, I think Nosferatu gets in here as well as Conclave. Conclave could quietly be picking up a lot of awards, but other movies to maybe look out for, you got Wicked out there, Amelia Perez is still out there. I don't think Anora will be out there, but who knows overall. Maybe a Nickel Boys if they really want to, recognize that style, that camera style, but I'm going with those 5, The Brutalist, Maria, Dune Part 2, Conclave, and Nosferatu as my cinematography top 5. Editing is a category that I think I know what's going to get in there, but it could also be a mystery because sometimes editing is so different than what you imagine. The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez to me seem like the 3 major locks overall. September 5 should be getting into editing. That seems like it's obviously a screenplay, but editing seems like the surefire thing. It has September 5 as my number 4 movie. And then I'm going to sneak Wicked in there. I think Wicked, being the long movie that it is, I think it's edited very well to not feel almost like a 3-hour movie. I think the scenes move very well. All the editing between all the dance scenes and all the different choices it made, I think it works really well. Don't be surprised if you see somebody here like Nora or The Substance. They could pop up in this category as well. And even Dune Part 2 could find its way into editing, in my opinion. Production design, man. This is Wicked's award to win, and we'll probably give Wicked the win at the Oscars later this year. But we're talking about nominees today, and my 5 picks for nominees, you have Wicked number 1. I think Dune Part 2 is a close number 2 for production design. The Brutalist, Conclave, and Nosferatu round out my top 5. I think Nosferatu is going to do very, very well in these techie categories. I think The Brutalist, before this AI thing came out, that's when the voting ended. AI thing came out after the voting ended. I think The Brutalist is going to do pretty well on some of these more craft things, and I think Conclave is set up to be a pretty big nomination person in all of these craft categories, like production design. What they did there with the Vatican, on a soundstage, making it look so real, was really great production design. You might see Emilia Perez here. Can't really think of too many other movies that pick up production designs overall. These are kind of my 5 that I think you're going to get. Costume design, I'm going to take some chances here. We got Wicked number 1. That's not much of a chance. I'm going to go with Gladiator 2. I think this is Gladiator 2's best chance, besides maybe visual effects, to get in the Oscar race. I have it number 2. I think its costuming was actually really good. The movie itself might have not been great, but that stuff worked really well. Conclave, Dune Part 2, and Nosferatu were all things that can do well in costume design. Thinking back to production design and costume design, Beetlejuice could show up in both those categories. Both had really great production design and costume design. I have it kind of out here on my 6th and 7th slot. Again, Emilia Perez could show up here because it's getting a lot of techie love. Not really sure what else has a chance. Maria might have a chance in costume design. But outside of that, I think this is pretty consistently here for costume design. Makeup and hairstyling. The Substance, Beetlejuice are my 2 favorites to win this whole entire thing. Wicked Part 2 and Dune, and Dune Part 2 will definitely get nominated here, as well as Nosferatu. Really, costume design and makeup this year, the makeup and hairstyling this year was like pristine all the way around. Now, I know there's a Brando documentary or Brando movie out there that could sneak in here. And, things like Maria could sneak in here as well. Gladiator could sneak in here. But I think these 5 are pretty solidly in there, in my opinion. I'd be surprised if at least 4 of these 5 aren't there on nomination day. Visual effects is always fun because this is kind of like the popular movie award. Wicked is definitely going to get in for visual effects, whether you think it should or not. The scene that it had with the, defying gravity and the flying monkeys worked really well. And even the opening scene, I think, is underrated for visual effects. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Mufasa the Lion King, Better Man are getting in there for obvious reasons with their big CGI type stuff. And then I actually think that Dune Part 2 will get in. So this means like Deadpool and Wolverine is getting knocked out, in my opinion. Maybe that won't happen, but I'm pretty confident Deadpool and Wolverine won't make it in. But if it does, it might knock out like a Better Man. It might knock out like a Mufasa the Lion King. But I'm putting my safe money on the CGI animals that look really good as a visual effect nominee. Sound is interesting here as we're kind of getting towards the end of my nomination, video here. Dune Part 2, I think, is the favorite, not just to win this award, but obviously to get nominated. Wicked, a complete unknown, and Emilia Perez, all kind of being musical elements. They do very, very well at sound. My 5th choice here is going to be Gladiator 2, but don't be surprised to see things like Blitz, maybe even a Better Man, The Brutalist, Conclave. There's a lot of movies out there, The Substance. There's a lot of movies out there that could get nominated for sound. I'm going to go with Gladiator 2 because I think this is a good category for it to get nominated in. The sound of the movie, I think, works really, really well. But I do think the musical movies and then Dune Part 2 are going to be pretty much 4 guarantees in the sound category. As far as score, The Brutalist, unfortunately, Dune Part 2 can't get nominated for score. So it wasn't original enough to meet the criteria. So that means, for me, my choices for score, you're going to have The Brutalist, Challengers showing up, people. You can be Challenger fans. All you people who seemingly love this movie that told you everything that was going to happen in it to make it kind of less dramatic. It's going to get in for score, I think. Conclave has a great score. I think it's going to get in. And then I think Emilia Perez and Wicked will be the surprise people that gets in for score, that people will either enjoy getting in or people won't enjoy getting in. But that's going to be my 5 for score. Nora doesn't really have that big of a memorable score. Dune Part 2 can't get in there for score. Maybe a Sing Sing could surprise her, but I don't necessarily see it. That's going to be kind of my score picks overall. We're going to round out my video with original song. The two Amelia Perez songs, El Ama and Mi Camino, they're getting in 100%. Compress Repress from Challengers, also think that's going to get in. I'm going to pick Harper and Will Go West just because I think it has name value. I think it'll get in there. And then Kiss the Sky from The Wild Robot will be my 5th pick for original song. I'm not that big in the music. I can't tell you who should or shouldn't get in the song, but that's going to be my prediction overall. And yeah, looking at my nomination predictions, I think you're going to see a lot of love for like Amelia Perez throughout, a lot of love for the Conclave throughout, and a lot of love for the Brutalist throughout. Dune Part 2 is going to pick up a lot of awards too. But things like Anora, things like The Substance, really are only going to get into the acting categories and screenplay categories. We have no idea what's going to happen with the supporting categories. I'm just giving my best guess for supporting actress and supporting actor. And yeah, we'll have to see who gets those 9th and 10th spots at the Oscars. But you know what? I will have a video out as soon as possible recording my live reaction to the nominations tomorrow. So come back here after you like and subscribe to my channel, like this video, so you can come back tomorrow morning and get my full energized 6:30 in the morning here Mountain Time Oscar nomination reaction. And tell me what you think is going to get snubbed. Tell me what your biggest bold prediction is in the comments. I love interacting with you guys. But until Oscar morning, we'll just have to keep waiting, and I'll see you around for that reaction.